Hey, what's up everybody? So about 3 years ago, I applied a couple different products to my FJ Cruiser's black plastic trim and did a comparison between the two products. Those two products were ArmorAll Outlast and Cerakote Trimcoat. Now when I initially did the application, I applied Cerakote to the right side of my FJ Cruiser's trim, and then I applied ArmorAll Outlast to the left side of the trim. I also did a follow-up video just to kind of see how each product had held up over the span of 2 years, and there was a clear difference. Now being 3 years later now, I think the difference is a lot more obvious, and I just wanted to show that to you guys today. And then ultimately I'm going to be applying the better product, which in my opinion is the Cerakote Trimcoat, to the other side of the car now, just so that I can even it out and make sure that everything looks the same. So with that being said, I just gave the FJ Cruiser a wash over the weekend, and I'm just gonna flip the camera around and show you the differences between the two sides. All right, as a quick reminder, this is the right side of the FJ, and I applied the Cerakote Trimcoat to the fender flares. The bumper here has the ArmorAll Outlast. And the reason for that is because with the plastic trim, I like the look of the shiny effect. However, when you go up to the front bumper, the shininess of the Cerakote is a little bit too much. I feel like the look of the ArmorAll, which is a little bit more of a matte-like finish, looks better on a larger piece of trim like the front and the back bumper. And one thing I will say is the Cerakote does apply a little bit streaky, and so if you're not careful, you can get streaks. So you'll see here, you know, after 3 years, it's worn down a little bit, but I probably could have done a better job applying in certain parts. You can see here, it's held up pretty well over the years. Here's a look at the rear fender flares. Okay. Now when we get to the license plate area, you're going to notice the difference between the treated area and the non-treated area. So at the time back then I did not remove my license plate, so today I'm going to be applying it to these sections here. But up here has the product, over here has the product, and then there's no product down here, which I'll be applying today. So you see what it looks like with the Cerakote. Moving on to the left side of the fenders, you can see here, this was where I initially applied ArmorAll Outlast. So you can see here that the finish is a lot more faded now. I did spray some tire shine recently, and I got a little bit of overspray, and you can see that overspray on the fender flares there, which serves as a contrast to how, you know, deep and dark the applied product should look. So, you know, over time it's faded. 3 years, I don't expect ArmorAll Outlast to outperform Cerakote, which is another reason why I'm going to apply the Cerakote to this side of the FJ Cruiser. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, one thing to note is that when you do buy the Cerakote, they do provide you with a pair of gloves. So it's, I'm assuming that this is something that you should not be handling with your bare hands. So I've got a little bit left from 3 years ago. I'm gonna open up a little packet here and then start applying. So it comes in a sheet, and what I like about this stuff is that it's a wet pad. It's easy to see where you have applied and where you need to apply. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start. One thing I did notice, and one thing I pointed out about the Cerakote, is that it applies very streaky. So you want to make sure that you have enough of a wet sheet to cover what you need to cover. I want to make sure that I have a nice even application. Now I can feel it starting to dry out a little bit, and so whenever I move on to my next section of the car, I want to make sure that I have a pad that can cover everything so that I don't run out So if I see any streaks, I'm just going to make sure that I kind of get rid of those streaks so that it doesn't dry the streak. Alright, so here's a quick look of my application. This is my fender flare on the front. This is as even as I could get it. And I go down here. Now this material down here, this mud flap, is more of a rubberized material and it doesn't absorb the product quite as easily as this, which I would say is more of a plastic. So I stayed away from that because the last time I applied it to the mud flaps, it was a little streaky. Anyway, moving along the door sill trim here. And then I got the rear fender flares, which applied pretty evenly, but a large section like this, you can see the streaks. I don't know if there's a better way to apply this without being streaky, but I moved on to this section here, which I didn't get the 3 years ago, so Cerakote is applied here. I actually even applied it to this thing, which was starting to look a little bit gray. Anyway, moving along here, got the license plate area. You can see some streaks down here, which, you know, probably could have been done better, but whatever. This is one of those products where it's sort of a one and done thing, and that's a twofold approach. One and done meaning once you apply it, I wouldn't go back over it within the first few minutes because it starts to dry, and if you try to go over it with another layer, then you're going to start to see some smudges and inconsistencies. So there's not a lot of forgiveness in applying this product. You know, these streaks are gonna remain, they're gonna show, but over time it's just gonna fade and look a little bit more consistent like the other side, which is fine. The whole point is to protect the trim, and this does just that. The streaky nature of the Cerakote when I applied it to this piece of trim, that's one of the reasons why I did not want to treat the bumper, both the front and the back bumper, with the Cerakote, because it is such a large area to cover, and those streaks are going to be really, really obvious, and I didn't want that. So with the front and the back bumper, and even probably the tire cover, I'm gonna use the ArmorAll Outlast on those, which is, again, a lot more forgiving of a product. So for larger areas where you don't want to see streaks and that you don't mind touching up maybe once a year, ArmorAll Outlast is the way to go. For everything else, Cerakote is a awesome product, and highly recommend it. I'm going to leave a link to the description of this product and this product as well down in the video description area, and you can purchase whatever you feel works best for your needs. Now that I have Cerakote applied to both sides of the vehicle, I'm definitely looking forward to less maintenance on the black plastic trim. Alright, that's going to put an end to this video today, and I hope you found that helpful and informative, and I will catch you on the next video.